Hello, everyone. Casey Wilson here. Danielle is out of town in Florida, where she lives, but I am here with two incredible co-hosts. Now, these two have both been on the podcast. One has been in the Nook with us. One was at the live shows. I don't know which is worse to be at. But they're both here. I could not be more excited to have two strong co-hosts. My first is fan favorite, Joel Kim Booster.
Wow. Fan favorite, really?
Well, I don't know that for sure, but I feel it.
Okay.
From the fans. No, yes, nice. Of course. People loved it when you came on.
Oh, wow.
And now this person is also fan favorite. I have so many... Also, all my girlfriends from home are obsessed with you, which to me is like, that's like a group you want to get.
So nice.
Ms. Vanessa Bayer.
I'm thrilled to be here, and I want you to know I take this very seriously.
I see your notepad. I don't see the same for Joel. Hello.
They're all up here, Casey. They're all up here.
Well, Joel, you arrived so beautifully on time and early, if anything.
Which is on time in our business.
That's right.
Early is on time is late. As far as I'm concerned.
So Vanessa was 2 minutes early, but also late.
Yeah.
And 2 minutes early is the earliest I've ever gotten anywhere.
And that's how serious she takes this.
Me too. I come like 10 minutes late. Everyone's like, it's very rude. It says all this about you. And I think I know. It is. It is a power play. Okay. Guys, before we start, I just want to quickly plug. Danielle and I added a last minute Largo show, which is going to be very, very important, which is the New York Reunion Part 3. We are doing a live watching of it. Wow. At Largo. Next Thursday, July 25th at 8 p.m., we're watching Reunion Part 3 of New York together. It's important that everyone come wearing their reunion wear. I have a lot of glitter and sequins that I'll be wearing, and the guests will be Ray Sani and Matt McConkey.
Wow.
This is important.
Wow.
And we'll tape the podcast after, and we'd love to hear from all of you, so get your tickets. This is big, to watch a reunion together and be together for it.
Yeah.
Now, before we start, I just want to ask you guys a general question. Did you guys, if I may ask, smoke weed?
Absolutely, every day.
You know, I can't give a simple answer.
Okay.
I recently smoked some weed and couldn't believe how much acid reflux it gave me.
Acid reflux!
And I looked it up, and apparently there's like a muscle here, like in your chest where that like, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And it and it like relaxes that muscle.
Okay.
And so acid can come up.
Now, is that from smoking or from any sort of THC?
From smoking.
Okay.
From smoking anything. So like I could do edibles and I would not have this problem.
Okay, because that's mostly what I do.
And
Yeah,
what
yeah,
about
yeah.
CBD?
I
CBD
love
gives
CBD is an Advil. CBD is an Advil.
Is a what?
An Advil.
So you don't give it any stock.
I don't
For
give
you,
it
it's
any
nothing.
stock. I don't feel that it's
Anything.
a real thing.
I hear you.
I do like
I think it's all in your mind. I think it's all psychosomatic.
I kind of agree with you, but I'm
for
okay
a
with
calming
it.
effect.
Yes, just for a little calming effect.
Take a Klonopin.
Well, I know. I take I'm such a Klonopin head. I'll take anything.
Yeah.
Anything anyone's got like rustling around in their purse. I'm like, break that off for me. But I had a little experience last week I just wanted to share because I'm still reeling from it, which is that Jessica Chaffin and our friend Jessie Klein hosted some type of night.
That's why I had weed to smoke.
Okay.
From that night.
Okay, well,
yes.
this is why I wanted to bring you in on this and hold your comments for the end only because I want to know your thoughts on this. So it was a party for a handbag designer, Edie Parker, and she's kind of adding a line of weed products, if you will, to her line. She's also a podcast listener, wonderful, wonderful woman, gorgeous things, and it's going to be called Weedy Parker. And so they gave out this amazing gift bag, and Jess and Jessie hosted this like very nice women's dinner. Beautiful. And I don't normally smoke weed. I'm always like the paranoid one. I'm a full-blown alcoholic, but I'm not a weed person. So they had these kind of like weed candies in this little vacuum-packed seals that they give you and there was like 7 little candies. And I just want to read a text exchange from my friend Claire Mukherjee, who's also been on the podcast, my stylist and I, about those candies. And Joel, you'll be playing the role of Claire.
I won't be doing the accent. I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries. No worries there. And this is about 3 nights worth of texts we sent to each other regarding these weed candies.
Have you tried those little candies?
The little weed ones from the gift bag?
Yeah, I just took one, Casey. It's like a warm hug.
Wait, do you get super stoned though? Because I really don't like to be crazy stoned.
It's light but great. Try them the next night.
Okay. The next night I write back. Okay, I tried the candy. I have to say, I feel too stoned. I feel way too stoned.
Really?
But I love them.
I'm going to take another one.
Okay, I feel really stoned, but in a really, really good way. Later in the week, Casey. I've been taking one every night, Claire. I love these.
Right?
And I love that I don't feel super hungover like you can with weed sometimes.
See, I did feel sort of hungover from them.
Later in the week, Jessica Chaffin texts us. Those candies don't have any weed in them. And that was a hard.
My favorite part is that Claire did feel hungover from that. Because the psychosomatic stone, like I can get, I understand that.
Okay.
But to then add on top of that a psychosomatic hangover on top of it is crazy.
But I was at one point like, I'm too out of control. I don't like this.
Oh my God.
But then I started thinking, actually, it's very light and natural and it feels really nice. Just kind of, at points I would take and I was like, I don't know if I can give my kids a bath because I am so stoned.
Oh my gosh. I literally, there were like 12 in there or something.
Yeah.
I ate like 10 of them as soon as I got home from that
And
event.
it didn't even occur to you that they were weed?
And did you feel
because
hungover afterwards?
I figured it's
Did you have to go to Cedars?
I figured it's such a different business doing edibles that I was like, there's no way there's weed in these.
See, that's so smart because to me, every single thing in the gift bag was weed. And I was like, oh, cute. This is like their little edible.
Yeah.
And I'm embarrassed
I think
for
I would have
myself.
made the same assumption, Casey. I really do.
Look, I keep going back to the vacuum sealed little bags, but I got to the bottom. I went straight to the top with this, and they were like, "No, they're just really great candies." And what I will say is, they are amazing candies.
They were
Sounds
such
like.
good candies.
Maybe you guys think about putting some weed in them.
Jessica and Claire, two people that I've met through this podcast. Like, I met Jessica Chaffin at a party, and I recognized her voice from being on Bitch Sesh. And I was like, "Are you Jessica Chaffin?" At Christy's house.
But you two are so meant to be.
I just know her from. I mean, I've mostly heard her talk on here.
Yeah.
But I love her, and same with Claire. Like, I saw Claire, and I was like, I bought the sandals that you talked about. On I met her for the first time the other night.
She's a
Claire
full-blown
got a lot of
celeb
hate
for me.
She hasn't been back since she told people not to shop at Target. And that was hard for people to hear.
No, I didn't.
Well, she's not wrong.
Joel, careful what you say around here. Oh my God, guys, we have so much to talk about. How are you both? Before we launch in.
Good. I mean, wow. I have to say, I'll say this for New York, I guess, because it's sort of a New York related.
You can go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that we're sort of coming out of the 4th of July 2 weeks ago. And I spent, because of this podcast, actually, I spent the entire weekend. I watched Scary Island, just because I heard you guys talking about it, and I was like, I sort of want to revisit that. Like you need to
just touch down on the classics.
And then I was like, well, I guess I need to watch the reunion from that season too, because this is so crazy.
I never thought about going to the reunion as well.
And then Casey, I spent the entire weekend alternating between getting really fucked up and then coming home and watching every single reunion from every single season 3 on.
Just the reunions.
Just the reunions. The reunions are my favorite part, by the way. I have
Why?
To say. I find, I don't know, I like to get to the end of this story, and I like the sort of, and a lot of times they get to the reunions, and we can talk about this when we get to Beverly Hills too, because I think it happens a little bit, but I think sort of nefariously. They do sort of drop a lot of the pretenses that they have during the season. Like they seem sort of aware during the reunions that they were on a television show in a way that they don't.
Well, because they're
they
taking
try to
questions from the
pretend
audience
not
too
during the filming, and that's frustrating for me. But and then you really remember a lot, like going through some of the dark years of season like 4 and 5.
What did you find there?
I just had her name and I can't remember who was the Bethany replacement season 4 when it was like just what was her name?
Bethany
A complete
replacement.
disaster. A complete disaster.
Not Barbershop, Cindy Barbershop.
Cindy Bar.
Is that who it was?
Cindy Bar.
I mean, I was like complete disaster.
I can't. Not since Cindy Barbershop. I mean, Barbara.
Yes, Barbara. Poor
Very
Barbara.
adjacent to that. And then just seeing the many iterations of young woman that they really tried to make work until we found a Tinsley with the right sort of mental illness that sort of fit in to the group, like the Kristen Taekmans and
No. Her husband was so awful. Remember him with that hat? Yeah. That pork pie hat he wore everywhere. Wow. Vanessa, how are you?
I'm good. I'm as I was just saying, I stayed up until 3:30 in the morning watching the whole current season of Potomac because I had not seen it, and it was, what a gift.
What a gift. Let's start with Potomac. We're
we
here.
gotta.
What a gift.
Can I say I also started this season.
Yeah.
I had not seen any other Potomacs. Also, I did go back and watch last year's reunion.
Smart.
Because that is...
Seems like that's where you like to live.
Yeah, sort of get the lay of the land.
And it is reunion season right now.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
reunion season.
And I'm so glad to be here to talk about 2 reunions because it is my favorite. But wow, these women, I mean, Dallas and Potomac are really bringing it in these early seasons
Very
in
strong.
a way that I want to come out the gate with a very strong take here and say, take OC out back.
I agree.
Get rid of it. Give us a new city.
Take 'em
because Dallas and Potomac have shown us that like the new cities are like we sort of just need a restart.
We need a restart.
sometimes.
I can't believe. I mean, we did a little breaking news that Vicky has been relegated to like a friend.
Right.
But I'm watching that trailer. I don't give a fuck now. Gina, I have read, has gotten 2 DUIs. Unfortunately, her husband. They were involved in like some very sad like domestic violence thing. I think there's trouble happening. Remember her marriage? She was like, we're just consciously uncoupled.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem that way. But I'm like, they've got nothing. I just watched the trailer.
And I couldn't believe that one woman who's new is still on it. The woman.
Yes, the lawyer / party planner.
Yes.
Yeah. And her name escapes me.
I can't think
Emily.
of her name.
Emily.
I only remember because it feels like with Gina and Emily, their names should be swapped because Gina seems like an Emily. Emily seems like a Gina.
Joel, can I just quickly ask you guys a question? I want honest opinions. And I was going to talk about this later, but you've just given me the perfect out. And it's not about Housewives, but briefly. So my younger son's name, go with me, is Henry. His middle name is Bear. I'm like, I want to call him Bear, but is that too strange in LA and weird? But when I was born, I'm like, well, he doesn't look like a Henry at all. I've made a terrible mistake. I love that name. He does not, it's like a banker, or like he doesn't look like a Henry. My brother just had a baby, named him Teddy. So we've got 2 bears in the family. My brother's doesn't feel his baby is a Teddy. Could we, genuinely asking, switch their names? My son is 2.
How old? He's 2.
Do it.
Right?
Do it.
Well, I think we can change them.
I say do it. It's too. They're young enough now that it's a fun anecdote that they can tell later on. In
you were
life,
named
but
after your
not
cousin.
but not traumatizing.
Right. Because my son's already a bear. The only thing that gives my husband pause is that we're switching our child's name, but mostly that his name would then be on the teddy bear cast. But that's strange. But maybe just like the bear's kind of pulled out just for our minds and it's Teddy Casp.
How is Bear spelled?
Bear.
Oh, it is.
I know. If it was Bare, that would have been different. Would have given us more dignity to work with as a first name.
Well, see, I thought you were going to switch. Maybe sort of bump Henry to middle. Get Teddy up there, up top.
Oh, okay. So Teddy Henry Casp?
Yeah.
And then throw Bear to
Theodore
them?
Henry Casp.
Okay. And then do they get, then
They get Bear. Right?
Right. They just get Bear Wilson.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But I think what they want from us is Henry. But my husband said, why can't they both be named Henry?
Yeah.
Even though they're first cousins and they are very close and we see them all the time, I don't mind that. I think that's a nice tribute.
Have you asked your son, have you been like, do you like your name?
Well, he's so little. He just
Yeah.
refers to himself as Bear. So Bear will be harder to shake from him.
Oh. Well, then now, I don't know. Now I feel like maybe you can't.
Okay, but maybe we give my brother Henry
And
to
you
just
take
take
Henry.
and
Yeah.
and we keep Bear, give him Henry because he knows himself as Bear.
Mm-hmm. Teddy Bear is hard, Casey.
It's
hard.
Okay. Thank
It's
you.
hard. You need to sit with that for a while and
Okay.
see if you can really do that.
Okay. I felt like you were on board until you heard Teddy Bear.
Yeah.
He could go by Bear and you could call him like B.
Right. Like just not get into the like Teddy Bear of it all. Okay. I think you can change people's names, and I'm just going to leave that
People
there.
do it all the time.
Right?
People do
In
it
this
all the
world,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, your stage names, obviously. Something different. All right. I'm sorry I had to get that off my chest. Feel free to come to me with any thoughts about that name swapping and how it should happen. And I think we do like a name ceremony.
Yeah.
You know, something beautiful.
Maybe a new
Tasteful.
birthday.
Okay, back to Potomac. I think OC should go as well. I find it to be the most riveting storyline. What's happening now with Ashley and her husband. It's insane.
They're
what's
all
going on.
stars, even the ones I don't like.
Like Robin? I like Robin.
No, I love Robin.
Yeah.
Robin, in fact, I think is maybe in my top 10 now
Of all time.
of all franchises.
Why?
I find her to be like she's like so laid back, like unbothered. It's very Cynthia Bailey, but more fun. You know?
Wow. Yes, it's
very,
Cynthia.
and this is something I'm going to come back to because when I come to a new housewife franchise, I really have to be like, okay, this person is the Dorinda, this person is clearly the Bethany, this person, I need to sort of hold on, and find the archetypes that they're filling, and Robin for me is like a new one almost because it normally when you have the like low drama, like early season Carol, for instance, there's not a lot there for me. But with Robin, I just find her very captivating and fun.
She is very captivating. She's very sleepy, which I've said. She does feel like she's always unaware of the camera to the point of, is she asleep? But I have a love for Robin. She's cool.
Very cool. Yeah. I was going to say, she's just so cool.
Yeah. And I love that Giselle will never once cross Robin.
That's the thing, because Robin sort of seems like a sidekick archetype. And yet does not seem like tethered to Giselle in the way that Sonia is to Bethany right now, or something like, it doesn't seem
right. And now, what do you make of Miss Karen Huger, Dame Karen Huger?
Tough. Yeah. Tough. Not compelling enough to want to watch her learn how to ride a motorcycle. I'll say that.
Oh my God, her riding that motorcycle. Those boots.
But she knows how to play the game. I think
she
watching
really
her with Monique
does.
or Candace is very interesting because she knows how to play this game.
That's
well.
quite enough. They aligned with each other last year, and it was first like, that's a strange kind of group pairing, but they ride together. I mean, Karen did say something last night that made me laugh. She said, Giselle being messy is a train that always arrives on time. Yes.
The Giselle Karen relationship is actually, I think, very compelling. A very compelling part of the show. Like last season when Karen sort of walked off and Giselle was the one to go and comfort her because they like have this history.
Yeah, but then Karen later reported she was crying so hard she didn't know it was Giselle that was comforting her.
Oh wow, I missed that.
Yeah.
I will say, like, it does feel like two heads of like two like ancient family houses.
It does, yes.
And Karen's has sort of fallen by the wayside.
Well, Karen's household is not her own. It's a rented mansion, and Giselle's is a rambling, broke-down country house in the middle of nowhere.
I just think, I feel like Karen... I love Giselle. Like, I think Giselle is like the coolest, other than Robin, like so cool. But I understand why Karen, like I feel like Karen keeps trying to have these boundaries with Giselle. Like when she didn't want to tell her about her business and stuff. I'm like, I wouldn't want to. It's like if you're, like if we were like working on a TV show or something like that, and you just don't want to tell everybody everything.
Every part.
Yeah, of course not.
Well, and that's my main problem, I think, sometimes with this show is that, like, different people are on different pages about, like, that part, like, when we say that this group of friends, it's a contractual obligation. It is not. And, like, sometimes, like, certain housewives will try and leverage that to be like, well, if we're friends, then why aren't you doing it? And it's like, Karen, or Giselle, what this is.
Yes. Like, we all know why we're here.
Stop trying to like pretend that you're hurt by Karen, because you're not hurt by Karen. You're leveraging this like pretend contract friendship to try and make Karen look bad and you look bad. Like when Karen wouldn't come down and hang out because she was grieving both of her parents passing, and Giselle was harassing
didn't want to
her
go to the club
on Instagram Live.
Yes.
And it's like, and she was like, oh, she must not be. And it's like, no, I get that.
She's just lying in bed, kind of looking for something to do.
Looking at social media. Like, who amongst us? In a hotel. That's all I want to do.
Of course. If I could figure out Instagram stories, I would do that as well. I mean, in a heartbeat. Okay, now what do you think about Potomac? And can we talk about Ashley and her husband right off the bat? We've missed a couple, actually almost 3 episodes now because we were off last week. Okay, everything has started to come to the light. Robin and Candace is a nut who has just gone off.
Kelly Dowd energy without any of the lightness or fun. Like, just completely out of control with her emotions.
Completely out of control. Now, when her mom hit her, on the side of the head with her pocketbook.
Oh my God.
That was hard. That was hard. And I'm like, did I see it or did I imagine it? We saw it, right?
We saw the bag, but I don't think we saw
it, right?
They showed.
I can't tell if I imagined.
This is like the jazz singer in Atlanta that you guys could remember.
Photo of them, and they zoomed in on the
Kristen
bag.
Wiig was screaming in the background. Yeah, I think we did see it. Her mom, that therapy session between Candace and her mother, and Giselle's therapist.
How could you? Why would that mother, who is a therapist herself,
is she practicing? Her clients must just be like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
The level of delusion to go onto this television show and then go into that therapy. She must really believe that she is in the right.
She does.
In a way that like.
She's delusional and narcissistic, it seems.
But can I say something else? I mean, Candace is like taking a lot of money from, it's like, just don't take money. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
Like, why is that like...
Exactly. If Candace is so pissed, that's the thing that kills me too.
Yes.
Candace, stop taking money if you truly are so mad, but she can't not.
She can't.
It's the last little final thing she can't do. And she's so mad at herself too for not taking for not taking the money. And it seems her husband is a great chef.
What meal was he making for the glop of just
of potato skins and
and also I don't like how he was like physically like restraining her.
Oh,
really?
I didn't.
I felt she needed to be restrained.
Yeah, I'm sort of on his side in that.
Well, she was holding a knife in her.
Oh yeah. But it was a butter knife.
Okay, you weren't bothered.
This seems to be the central conflict of that discussion.
Right.
It was a knife, but it was a butter knife.
And you're right. That is different. I'll allow you that. That is different.
But even when she was trying to go outside and like he was like stay inside. Like I just
Vanessa, as someone, I'll speak to this with anger problems. I think he knows where we're gonna go from here, and I think it's even more than we're seeing. Personally, I felt him being like, "Oh God, no! Like this is going to be a lawsuit," or maybe just trying to maintain her personal dignity.
Yeah.
But you wanted him to let her go for the show, or just for?
I didn't love like just him like sitting on top of her, and I just felt so aggressive. Like
that triggered you a bit.
It was just. It seemed like just a lot of like him like grabbing her hands and like. And I know what you're saying. Like he was saving her from herself a little bit, but I also was just like. This is hard to watch.
Yeah, and you see it in the context too of when he wouldn't let her drive away too. It does feel like I don't know, maybe just let her go. But it's so frustrating with her to watch. I think this was a good couple episodes for Monique too, who I don't know.
Beautiful couple episodes.
Yes.
Thank you.
I think
that cutout above her breasts, cut out when she was working on the nursery. Beautiful top.
Yeah.
For a pregnant woman.
She is so beautiful.
She is gorgeous.
It was a strong couple episodes.
And just her POV the last couple of episodes where it's like, you're absolutely right. When she was pointing at, she's like, everyone at this table is wrong right now except for Katie.
Guys, Katie.
Can we talk about the wig for one quick second?
Oh my God.
Electric chair. I don't say that lightly. An absolute electric. What is she doing?
What is she doing and fashioning herself with this new hoedown hippie lifestyle? It's very strange.
I wrote down that Katie looks like she's wearing a disguise at all times because she's like got a wig on and a hat and big glasses and like none of it. It's all like too big for her face.
Yes.
And it just looks like she's going undercover. In like a badge.
She doesn't want everyone to see her.
But can I say too, at the same time, I think she is sort of the ideal friend of in many ways because she's not, I don't need her there permanently, but she is so weird and giving such weird takes. Like sometimes like
Yes.
And sometimes I will say too, this most recent episode of Potomac, give these editors a fucking Emmy.
Yep.
Because there's so much, they are firing on all cylinders in Potomac. I don't know I don't know if they have different crews for different cities or what, but the editing is insane. And there are some shots where they would just go to Katie, who's like half asleep off to the corner.
Oh my God.
Well, you're right. Katie is a strange friend of. She's not a Faye or a Camille or a Marlo, like coming in guns blazing. She's just like, you're right. Is she undercover? Is she there? It's much like Jason Mantzoukas said about Ken. Can everybody see Ken? Yeah. Everybody see Katie?
Well, also like she gave that toast where she was like, on the farm. I wish I had written the whole thing down. I wrote down bucolic. And she was like, to everyone on this place, thank you very much. And it's just like, Katie, wake up.
And it was such a strange party. Everyone was literally screaming at each other. Then she took that time to do a very slow, sleepy toast. She's an odd bird.
There's so many laugh moments in this episode for me when they're all scream fighting and the editors took the moment to flash to the godmother and the neighbor standing off to the side, clearly told, get out of the shot, you cannot sit at this table and eat with them. Just to observing all of this was so funny. The Wendy Williams segment.
Oh my God, they showed
the editing.
So much.
When he made eye contact with the camera after finding out that this all transpired at the rainbow party, which is so dark.
So dark.
And he kisses Ashley and then makes menacing eye contact with the camera as though the editors are telling us that camera man was the one getting this shot.
Yes, wow, like a Hitchcockian
Was
kind of.
just like,
Yeah.
I couldn't stop laughing. So funny. The way when housewives get news on their phones during a
it's so
testimonial,
thrilling.
it is so
It is
so
so
good.
fun.
You know what? The Kardashians need to take a fucking page because they keep trying to piece together as though they're getting all this news of Chloe's and all this and that. And it's like not really true. These bitches were all together when it came out. It was so good.
Oh, it was great.
When Ashley received that phone call from Giselle in the party store.
Yeah.
With Katie, did you see her looking at things
What was
next
the
to her?
budget
That
for
was wild.
that party, by the way? $40?
$40, yes. $40. The way Ashley received the news from Giselle that her husband, was out on TMZ, that he had groped a cameraman and was looking at possibly like jail time. But
Yeah.
was a psychotic. Is this a word? Psychopathian? Way
It is
to
now.
receive information.
Bucolic, yeah.
Bucolic.
It was bucolic. Yeah, she was like, I know about the charges and it's old news to me. And
Yes, she was like, But
Oh,
it was
thanks for letting
acting
me
school.
know.
Like we could
Can-
all take a page
can-
from that. Like she was thrown and shocked, and then was like, "Yes, go on."
This whole time watching this season, I was like, oh, Ashley is sort of a smarter Portia, maybe a little bit more composed. And then I watched this episode and I was like, oh no, I was wrong. She's Luann. She is bringing Luann levels of delusion and sort of unflappability to this moment in her life. I was watching it and I was like, oh my God, this is what Luann brings to the Tom situation, to just not
And
letting
that's why you're so
anyone puncture.
maddened by them, because no one can puncture.
Yeah.
And it's so strange. And that's what I like about my housewives, that they won't take in reality. And those two do it with the best of them. Because I used to like Ashley. I was like, she's kind of cool. And why is everyone hating on her? And I don't mind her. I think she's sweet. And then watching all the things she'd said to those women, where she literally said to Karen, mentioned the awful drop the soap phrase to Karen last year, and then when Karen said it to her, I was shocked, and then I realized, oh no, Ashley said that to her last year.
In a confessional, so less.
Sure.
I mean,
Sure.
can I say too?
Clink clink.
The handling of Michael's possible sexuality and the dick sucking stuff.
Sure.
It is not as homophobic as, say, the Jersey housewives would handle it. On the scale of how these housewives would handle it,
Or
it is
where it
somewhere-
was in Dallas when it was like he got his dick sucked at
In
the
the
roundup,
roundup.
and they were like,
This is such a strange common thread amongst all of these franchises.
yes, it really is.
It is weird. I don't understand why. I don't know, something about it. It's not like by the book homophobic the way they're talking about it, but it is like none of these women could ever acknowledge the existence of, say, bisexuality or
someone tried to say one thing, but it was very but in any instance, she would have to be out immediately.
Yeah. And it's like they're not talking about it. Almost they're approaching it, but I wish they would just be like, it's wrong that he would sit. Because my thing is, it's like, why wouldn't Ashley just be like, it was a joke? Because I will say, and I think somebody said it, maybe it was like Australian humor. It is sort of Australian humor. Someone who's been over there. They are very goofy and sort of straight men are much more apt to make those sorts. Now, I don't think that's necessarily the case with Michael. I don't necessarily think he was joking, but I don't know.
I just have never seen Michael joke in general. But I hear what you're saying. There was no room for it being anything in the middle.
Yeah.
But I do think Ashley also kind of plays into that because she's acting like it's nothing. So we can't really get a handle. If Ashley was like, guys, he is bisexual, this whole thing would be totally diffused. But that's what I do love about the show, is that she's all actually acting like it's nothing, which means it's something.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Also, can I ask a question? 3 to 11 years
Go ahead. I know where you're going.
in prison.
Yeah.
For grabbing someone's butt.
Well, I thought about that only in regards if we'll all remember when Nene pulled a cameraman out of her closet and he had to go to the hospital because he cracked a tooth. Things have happened to these camera persons. No, and I'm not saying that
This is
nothing
the same.
at all.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying more in general. I'm like, these poor
Yeah.
Poor people. Yeah, 3 to 11 years seems like a lot, and I'm not discounting at all what he's gone through.
I don't think you're saying like, I think that this was maybe a conjecture from like somebody in like a radar, like I don't know that that's actually real though, because I think it's like Sirius and Michael like should be
totally
held accountable for that,
of course, and off the show and all of it.
The show and all of that, and all the things that will and can happen to him. But I don't think that the 3 to 11. I think that's somebody said like this. Somebody who has no like into the context of the situation probably like made a state like a lawyer. Our legal experts at Radar Online said that this could be 3 to 11 years, and then one of the housewives read that, and that has now become the truth, as often happens on this show.
Right.
And so I don't think that he's actually in danger of going away for 3 to 11 years.
Although I wouldn't be surprised. It's like if this is happening, he's got a lot of I think
stuff.
One of many things that there's something about him to me that's very kind of, I don't know. I want to say a little sinister. Just his demeanor.
I hope she does not have a baby with him.
She did yesterday.
Is that true?
That's true.
Wow, I need to get my head in the real news.
Because I wrote down, she said like,
no matter the real news and get out of fake news.
She did say like, no matter what happens with Michael, I do really want to have a baby. Like she said something.
She said, we're better than ever.
And
the best was,
honestly,
before Giselle called her to tell her the news, she had literally just said, Michael's a stallion.
A stallion.
Yeah.
I wrote that down.
Phone rang. He couldn't script it better. He's a stallion. You know those women and men who are always having to talk about the prowess of like in their sex life, and it's just like, oh, please stop. And then for Ashley to kind of be tackling it in that way, it's just like, just stop.
Had Luann been able, she would have had a child with Tom immediately. And I feel very confident in saying that.
Yeah, I do too. Because to tie herself to him longer. Yeah, Ashley has given birth to a baby boy, and she said something in her Instagram post like, skies have been gray, but now they're...
Now, wait, I have a question about their taglines. Which came first, all of this conversation about Ashley's karma or Ashley's tagline about like,
great question.
Karma can be a bitch. Good thing I'm on her good side, which is,
I don't know, because karma. I think it's because of this, because Ashley's been the one doling it out for the last 3 years about people's marriages. Like he's he's unfaithful. Karen doesn't live in her house. Robin's relationship, he cheated on her.
Monique is a drunk driver. Yeah.
Sure. And now here we are.
But why would she sort of put a spotlight on her storyline for herself?
I'm sure Bravo was like, here's what you're saying.
So crazy.
And she was like, I don't understand it, but I will say it. I mean, it's really wild. Candace to me is so unhinged, but I will say I started to see Ashley as almost just as unhinged in a very different way yesterday.
Well, two things about observations about Candace. First of all, when Candace went to the spa and FaceTimed Monique about this, when Monique was going on about how like, I'm just going to support her, I'm just going to be like there for her, and Monique and Candace with a barely thinly veiled smile was just like, I couldn't, like the joy was almost like bursting out of her. And this was the incredible thing to witness is that all of the apologies rolling into Ashley only came because of this news. Like they were like, oh, I can give like all the apologies to Ashley at the Hoedown almost became like, they were like a powerful weapon because they knew the thing that was happening was that like first of all, why was Candace sitting on a higher chair than everybody else at that table? Did you notice that?
I'm sure she dragged it over, and
it's so distracting to me.
I know,
but
I did like her bouncy entrance into the Hoedown. That felt fun. Yeah. She's got major problems, Candace. Major anger problems.
And to see her like Monique threatening to drag her as a pregnant woman,
throw a water bottle at her,
and then to come back over and apologize and be like, "I will be the bigger woman," and apologize to threatening to throw a water bottle.
I love Monique.
I do too.
Can I also say something I love about Candace as someone who has just caught herself up on this whole season? Yeah. Just how much she's into her singing voice. Much the times she has when she sang at her wedding and when she sang to bring that birthday cake out for Giselle's dad. I mean, that was one of the best moments on TV when she's like, happy birthday. And everyone's just like, what?
Wait,
The thread of people who think they can sing that runs through the
Ashley.
franchise.
Ashley at that
Oh
mic.
my
Was her-
I wanna
was her mic
tell
even on?
you.
Oh, I wrote that down. I wrote down very hard to hear Ashley on stage.
Very hard. Well, Giselle really made me laugh in the testimonial when she was like, okay, friends have overheard that your husband said he wants to suck someone's dick. The next we see you is at a pride parade singing a erotic love song with your brother about Michael. It's insane. All the things that she goes, I've gotten such a great response from that song. So here I am at Pride to sing a love song for my husband, Michael. It was strange.
It was strange and bad.
Yeah, and the eyeshadow.
The eyeshadow. Now, Candace has said something about 100 times that really makes me laugh. These women really care about who's yelling at them when they've invited them into their home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, well, it's all going to take place wherever. Candace kept saying, I invited her into my home. I gave her a beverage. She did. She did give her a beverage.
I will say, though, it was the most psycho thing I've seen in a long time on this show for Ashley to re-enter the party, not once, but twice.
That was tough. And even Karen was like, Ashley.
That's wild.
She's nuts. But okay, the reason I hated Candace so much was because of the bullying she was doing to Ashley surrounding fertility. I thought was insane.
And she will...
I can't come back with Candace because of that.
That is nuts.
And Monique tried to say to her, I like when Monique tried to do a slam and she's like, you are like Venus. And I don't mean Serena and Venus. I mean up there with the planets. It was like very sweet slam. But it's so unbelievable to make fun of Ashley who spoke at that miscarriage party. Is that what you would call it? A baby shower slash when the doves flew. It was just so cruel to make fun of Ashley's, I thought, very beautiful, genuine speech.
Yeah. And it makes no sense. And she keeps, even Monique, who has some Bobo health ideas in her head. I believe last season she was really brought into the
cooled
spotlight
down on the
for,
crystals.
Yeah, crystals and
Yeah.
herbs and everything like that was like, not like, it doesn't matter if you're drinking before you're pregnant. Like that is such a wild, like made up thing that she's really dug her heels in
and she keeps
about.
going back to the well for it. And it's like, I did like Monique was trying to say to her, it's unacceptable what you were saying. And I appreciated when Monique was like, if just because you're my friend doesn't mean I'm going to ride with you. Like but all those women are so crazy that no one is coming out and being like, this is wrong what you're doing to this woman.
Also, I love when they're all fighting at that dinner, and Chris is like, they're like all like in the middle, like and Ashley's just left, and they're all, and Chris is like, it's a risotto with a beurre blanc, and they're all like. They're like, yeah. And they're like, I'm talking about Ashley, and he's like, and these are scallops with and they're like, shut up.
But I felt like Karen occasionally would turn to him and be like, Chris, this is delicious. In the middle.
I will say two things. Giselle, I think, could go toe-to-toe with any of the alphas on any of the franchises. I think she is an all-timer. I think
she's up there with I want to see her and Erika Jane go for it. Ramona, all of them.
Vanderpump, even a Bethany. I think she
she has, for sure.
Both Bethany and Giselle have this special power of being able to be like, okay, I know the optics are bad. I am being a hypocrite right now. And so and finding a way to address that without really taking accountability for it. And I think that's that's a necessary skill you need to have to be
They're pros,
an alpha on this
They
show.
are pros. The way Giselle continued to approach the bench about the topic of Michael groping the cameraman, she knew she wasn't getting anything. She was like, I'm here to talk.
Yep.
If you want to. And Ashley would be like, no, I'm good. And Janelle's like, right. It's just that I would be upset. It kept like leading her into it again. And Giselle's head was just like, I'm going to do it. Here I go. Like, it's insane to not talk about it.
She's Vanessa Williams.
Oh my God. She's so beautiful.
Yeah. And regal.
So regal. But also the amount of time it took for her to realize that she's the one that got Robin in trouble for like bringing that up at the dinner. Like she was like, Robin, you brought it up. And Robin was like, Giselle, you brought it up. Like,
and I think Robin is the only person who could have backed her into that corner.
Yeah.
To realize
100%. And then Giselle was like, okay. She's like, I need to apologize. That's crazy. But you know what? To Robin's credit, let's give this to Robin. And it's not a quality I need in a house, so I have to like hold on to information. But she was ready to take that comment to the grave.
Yeah.
It was Candace's craziness.
Yeah.
And it's Candace for her to keep trying to justify the stuff she was saying about Ashley's, fertility issues and miscarriage on the fact that her husband said this at a party is so misguided. That's why Candace looked insane.
Yeah.
It's like it's two completely separate things. But I felt like Robin was trying to be a nice friend.
Yeah.
She's like, that was a fever dream. I don't know what I heard.
And she wouldn't have brought it up.
No.
Had Giselle not sort of presented her.
Yeah. And to be on a
party.
reality show with that information in your head and just sit with it. I mean, what a queen.
Yeah. Amazing.
She's good.
I think, and I don't want to damn this episode with faint praise, but the Hoedown is a top 30 episode of
It is. Oh, definitely top 30. Definitely top 30.
Which is a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to count
It
backwards.
has everything. I mean, the cuts to Katie alone, where
The
she's
cuts
just
to Katie,
asleep.
the extended Wendy Williams, where you almost, if you flipped to the channel during that, you would have for like 3 minutes thought you were watching a Wendy Williams episode.
Many times. I'll just end maybe our Potomac talk unless anyone has anything else to say. With Katie got a last minute toast in as well after bucolic. She just said in front of Ashley, "Here's the fake bitches and ass grabbing." And everybody was like, ha ha ha.
I even felt I got that second hand like I couldn't believe.
It was so uncomfortable.
It's
It
just
was
like,
Go ahead.
it's just like someone who's asleep and then wakes up and says something crazy and then goes back to sleep. And everybody's like, well, we can't really challenge her because she's sleeping.
Yeah. She's in disguise and sleeping on a pile of coats.
In disguise and sleeping. Monique is very Candy Burris energy to me, I think, too.
Oh, wow.
And again, I'm coming to this with fresh eyes, this franchise. Without the previous 2 seasons.
Oh, I was going to say without
don't-
the talent. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
certainly wouldn't trust Monique to run several businesses.
But we've never heard her sing. Maybe.
But we've never heard her sing.
I do really like Monique. She's bringing something to us.
I don't know. I know I have friends who I've expressed this as well, that I think Monique is great this season. And a lot of my friends have been like, oh, she's terrible.
Wow.
And
okay. Thanks for bringing that.
Maybe it's
viewpoint.
because we're new this season. That
I
we
think,
haven't.
yeah. I think she is having a really good season of the show in this
Look,
vacuum.
was it more fun when she was being accused of having 3 martinis and driving her car into a ditch?
Or
that felt more fun.
And again, haven't seen this for my own eyes, only through the flashbacks, the umbrella moment.
Yes.
Which is hard for me to reconcile. I'm like,
Right.
this was this same woman?
So I've said this before, and it's incredibly misogynistic, but I don't like my housewives pregnant. And I'm fine with that. I've had 2 kids, and I don't want to discriminate against anyone for being pregnant, except in this instance. I need them to be free. Yeah. I need them to be free at a moment's notice to get blackout drunk. I need them to be free to physically lay hands on one another.
I don't want them sober. I don't want them pregnant. I don't want them happy.
Exactly. And I feel like I'm worried about them if their mental illness can't run free. And I worry. And so,
This is a platform for them to express all of the toxicity
yes,
in their life and in their souls.
that's for me to do, is be pregnant.
Yeah.
I need you guys to be like wild stallions, like running amok. And I hope everyone understands where
to
I'm coming
see her
from on
pregnant
that.
is to see a wild stallion broken.
Yes, and I
that
don't
is-
want that.
No.
She's caged. I just want her free.
I'm staying quiet.
Okay. That's great.
You'll get free of the blowback. Free
Yeah,
of the blowback.
free of the blowback. Oh. All right, let's take a little break. Okay, we're back. Should we get into Beverly Hills?
I guess so.
So I had something unfortunate happen, and it's kind of along the lines of my weed candy debacle, which is that I don't know what's going on with my memory and my brain. I've been telling everyone this on the podcast for a while. So I settle in to watch the reunion, and I notice, I'm like, oh my God, they've had 3? How have I missed? What's happening? So I go to one. I text Vanessa. I'm like, I'm sorry, there's been 3. You got to watch all 3. I text her. I don't get to you yet. I sit down. I start taking all these notes, and I'm like, wow. It's really cool after everything that's happened with Kyle and Dorit. Lisa is here.
Oh my
Like, that's
gosh.
cool. I'm like, and everyone looks really good and like slightly familiar, but that's how they always are. It's like those reunion looks are a blur to me. I watched the entire fucking thing.
No!
They say Teddy, your first reunion. I go, right, because she was probably a friend last year. She was. It was like I was Ashley. Like everything that came at me that was clearly like you've seen this before. I write everything down. I go, wow, Erika, we've had enough of your migraine. Stop being so rude to Andy. Erika's breasts look so good. Literally all the same notes I wrote down last year. And then I realized I'm watching the wrong season. That was hard. Tough. Because when it was reunion part 1, so I thought, well, they're going to get into all of this. Like we're starting very slow. And then I realized I've seen all these looks. I've seen all of this. And I was like, Kyle and Lisa seem very friendly. Lisa Vanderpump.
Tough.
What's happening to me, guys? I had taken a weed candy before that, by the way. Genuinely, I was like, there they this candies go again. There they go again. But here we are now with Beverly Hills Part 1. First of all, the looks. What are we thinking about the looks?
Well, highlighter yellow is very on trend right now.
Yes.
Do they tell them the colors, guys?
But tough to look at on television, I will say.
I loved it.
I loved Lisa. I loved Lisa Rinna's. I
The
thought Lisa
hair,
Rinna looked.
the wig.
Did you love it?
I loved it.
I did
I
too.
loved it. I thought she looked great. I thought,
If anything, when we flash back to her old hair, I was like, ah,
yeah.
yes, it looked more modern. It looked
Yes. She looked younger.
you think? yeah.
more.
Yeah.
I also loved. Speaking of yellow, I loved Kyle's look.
Yeah.
I did.
No,
thought
I think
Kyle
they're both
looked
good looks. It was
beautiful.
just for me and my eyes late at night. I was like, this is.
No, I
tough
feel
to
like
keep
Kyle at least looked like stylish. Her outfits has always been, like I said,
Yeah.
the one thing we can relate to Kyle over is her bad style.
Yeah.
But I felt like she at least looked with us in
Yeah.
this world.
There's someone. Oh, and Erika, I thought looked great.
Yeah. It was more subdued. And Dorit always, listen,
I mean,
I've come fully like around to Dorit in a lot of different ways.
Me
But
too.
we've always been on board with Dorit and her looks, I think.
her looks, I thought it was great. And see, she had clips on in the reunion from last year that I
So
watched.
I thought she looked gorgeous in the last reunion. Like I thought that was the right number of clips.
Right. She definitely escalated the clips.
I will say,
clip
can I just
perspective.
speak to the gay person that came up to comment on the fashions in Beverly Hills at your live show and say, I think he was wrong.
Wait, was
I
he?
think he was
Was he supporting Dorit?
He wasn't. He said
Okay.
Dorit's looks were bad most of the time.
He had a couple of my candies, I think, before, and I think he was wrong as well. Because also, you have to understand, we're in a world of housewives. We're not in
Yeah.
a world of,
Yeah.
we're not looking at like Stella McCartney and like all these different designers sitting next to each other. It's like these women are always going to be these women.
Yeah.
But I love the way Dorit
Yeah.
looks.
I do too.
Those separated rock hard breasts where you can see her ribs behind it. Love it.
Now, I will say, too, I gave up on this season. I stopped watching about midway through.
Okay.
And I came back because you asked me to come here and do
Yeah.
this. So I caught up on the last couple of episodes.
Thank you.
But yeah, I didn't love this season.
No, there was nothing that really happened, especially when we went to France.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
Also, just is Lisa Vanderpump on the show or not? You know,
No,
I
exactly.
Also,
and contractually, can't you get her ass down there?
yes.
I think that she has leverage because of the other shows that people love. And I think had it been any other housewife, they might have been able to like threaten or cajole. But I think, well, here's my thing. I thought because of the stupid fucking FaceTime with Anderson Cooper, which
Oh my
was asked
gosh,
for,
they
needed.
leaned
Liked
into
it.
that.
I liked it. Come on.
The way that he said when Anderson was like, so Lisa Vanderpump isn't coming. And then Andy sort of just smiles and like shrugs because he said Lisa Vanderpump isn't here. And I thought the verbiage, I was like, she's going to be here. Part 3, she will arrive.
She will arrive.
But then they
Oh
did
my God, I literally chills.
But then they did the fake out with Camille
I know.
because they were talking about Lisa Vanderpump and they're like, I think she's going to come. I think she's going to come. And then they were doing that fake that like we saw the SUV pull up
Yeah.
and then it ended up being Camille. I was like, oh, if they're doing this, I don't think
She's not
coming.
coming.
I don't think she's
Okay.
coming.
I didn't feel it spirit wise that she's going to join us.
And
want her
the
to.
way they were faking it out, though, it was like, don't waste our time with this. Like,
Yeah.
if she's going to be there, great, but I don't think she is. And it's like, what? And also the way that Anderson, I was watching with my friend Julie, and she pointed out how Anderson Cooper acted so excited when Andy was like, but guess who is going to be here? Camille. And Anderson was like, what? Of course she's going
As
to.
though she wasn't the story engine of the entire back half
know.
of the season.
I personally enjoyed seeing one of our top newsmen lying down and discussing housewives. Like, I did like it. I was like, that feels fun. And I know we've been, doing that bit for a while, the two of them,
Yeah.
but I feel like Andy felt like he couldn't totally like take Lisa downtown because of the other shows, but I thought he went pretty hard after her, like playing those clips of.
Oh,
he
that
was like,
was
okay, you don't want
tough.
to come here because he does not play.
No.
I feel like he was like, you don't want to come here. That's fine. We will make you look like a goddamned idiot.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to come because she's so scared. She knows they're going to attack her, and she's like, I won't lower herself. She's too scared. She's such a fearful person. I feel like he
prideful
was like,
person.
we're still going to get you.
But here's the thing. Especially after watching the clips put together, I don't buy Teddy's story for a fucking second.
Why?
I think she's a liar. I think those phone calls that she alluded to that Lisa was on with Blizzard and Sessa and Lisa on the other end
Blizz and
didn't
Sesh.
happen. She did not, like, those women are so confused. Put the order of events together. And I said it the last time I was on this show, I think Elisa has done a lot of shady shit in her time on this show. I do not think that what they ultimately brought her down for was actually going on. I really don't. Wow. I think that Teddy legitimately did this by herself. I really don't. And I think she threw Lisa under the bus and they were all ready to do it because they were done. And I get it. I get why they were done. But I don't believe Teddy for a second on it.
Yeah, because I also can't follow what Teddy's saying. So, if the truth, you're like, it clicks in and you're like, oh, that's what happened. Okay. She keeps saying phone calls and she's apologizing so much that I'm like, oh, it almost seems like you're right. She's guilty of more than she's sort of hopping to.
I do think maybe Dorit got it right at the end of the reunion when she said, like, I think you were apologizing not because you felt bad about what you were doing to me, but because you realized it wasn't going to be you were going to be the only one to, like, go down for it.
Yeah.
That, like, Lisa was, like, washing her hands of it. So it was just going to be you by yourself, like, taking the blame or whatever. But I still do think, like, at least that's something to do.
I agree with you, Vanessa, but I'm kind of in between the two, which is like, I feel like that's the whole story, and we're just being exposed to what they all do.
Yeah.
Which is like, here's going to be our storyline. You're going to take down Dorit. I can't do it alone and Teddy's like, great, at least I'll have something controversial. But then because for this particular story, we got into the inner workings of it, which we don't normally do the machinations of it normally.
But also, I didn't realize until the reunion when they were talking about, like, after the reunion last year when, like, Lisa Vanderpump was going to, like, have everybody over and Dorit was like, I won't go if Teddy's there. And then, like, when you remember, like, how Dorit, like, made all those bathing suits, but she wouldn't make one with Teddy. Like, Dorit was, like, pretty mean to Teddy. Like,
it was outrageous.
I didn't realize all this.
So I was sorry to laugh. I'm just thinking about when I watched last year's reunion by accident. She was like, yeah, I didn't make one for Teddy. I was like, that's interesting because I thought she did, but I guess it didn't go to market.
Yeah, because she did this season.
Twisting yourself into knots.
I was like, I could have sworn she had to cover up for Camille.
That is why, I think part of that is why I found the last scene of the season before the reunion so fucking dark and disgusting. When they met for that brunch at Kyle's house, I was so disgusted with all of them.
Why?
I couldn't. It was so fake to be like, we're all here and we're all girlfriends and look, like, no. And we know this will fall apart as soon as they don't have Lisa / Camille there to sort of rally against.
Yeah.
Once that's gone, they're all going to be at each other's throats.
Yeah, because they have to be, because we need drama and those two women are bringing it.
Yeah.
And Lisa, Lisa Rinna, now I love her. Don't get me wrong, everyone. But there is just like, I feel like I see her, and I know you guys are going to disagree. I see her sweat a little much to me.
No.
Like, she's works pretty hard.
I agree with you.
I wish she could just kind of like hide her work a little more.
I think she is far more an engine of the downfall of Lisa Vanderpump than anyone's giving her credit for, because 100%. She's the one who planted. She's the one who told Kyle and Teddy, this is Lisa Vanderpump. Yep. She fully fed them the steps that they all sort of got on board with and confused them. Yeah. She literally was the one who was like, this sounds like Lisa Vanderpump.
And it is pretty brilliant that Lisa Rinna and Dorit have managed to like step back from this whole thing. It's like, I bet what happened with Dorit and that dog wasn't great.
No, of course
That's what
not.
I think. And I feel like we've lost the focus on that. And for Dorit to steer crazy dog people away from the fact that she did that is a feat.
One of those early episodes when they were at dinner and they were all screaming at Lisa Vanderpump, and Lisa Rinna at one point leaned back and smiled as though she was surveying like a battle that she had engineered, like the wreckage of a fight that she had engineered was sort of incredible. And Dorit crying, being like, I just can't believe, like, all of that was so wild to me. I couldn't believe it.
Now, did you guys see Dorit's outfit last night on Watch What Happens Live? It is a winged creature. I'm telling you, it is I can't even describe it. It looks like wings on her breast that go so far out to the side. The person next to her, you can't even sit. White wings with a low-cut top. I can't even begin to describe how crazy it is. But, it's come to light that their bank accounts have been frozen. PK and Dorit's bank accounts have been frozen because this guy's suing them for like $1.4 million. But Dorit was claiming on Watch What Happens Live that she personally froze her bank accounts just to be like friendly to the courts. Like, I took care of it first. But she's like, it's all a big misunderstanding. What's going on there with their finances?
I mean, Karen Eber. It's a
house of cards.
It's a house of cards.
How can we find, who could we ask?
I don't know. You know
Freedom of Information Act. That's what we got to file one of those.
You know, we've had a former guest, Nicole Shabtai, has some ties to that world, and I'm gonna get in there. We need to know. Something very bad's going on, I think.
It feels like Jersey adjacent and how catastrophic it could be legally.
3 to 11 years. Denise Richards.
Can I go scorched? I'm going to go scorched earth here.
If you don't like Denise,
No.
I don't know if I can hear it.
I'm going to say something that I don't know what will happen after I say this.
I already said pregnant women shouldn't be housewives.
This might be worse than that.
Okay, great.
Denise Richards is everything that Erika has tried to trick us into thinking she is.
Wow.
I'm done with Erika Jane.
Am I. Done.
Denise is laid back, cool, been there,
and for
all
real,
of it. And it's real. And to see her next to Erika, you're like, oh wow, you are a sham. You're a sham. Case in point. I want to point this out.
Joel,
this is when I realized.
I'm sitting up straight.
When Denise is talking about letting her husband do the happy ending and saying that she got a happy ending as well, Erika immediately jumping in and saying, you get eat out. That's what happens.
Yeah.
And we all know that is not true.
Never heard that.
That is not true.
That's
and
not
it is
true.
Erika trying to seem like, oh, I've been there. I've seen it all.
And like, don't be all such little virgins or whatever she
and
said.
then what to walk away like that. And Denise is like, no, that's not how it is.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, you're a fraud. You're an absolute fraud.
But even the way that Andy, I thought the same thing. I was like, that can't be right. And then the way that Andy brought it up in the reunion, and he was like, is that what it is? And I think Denise
threw a bone.
Denise was like, yeah, it can be anything. Like,
because Denise
is so cool
so above it all.
that she doesn't care to like make Erika look stupid. She's like, yeah, whatever, but you're right. And the way that, especially at the beginning of this season, the way that Erika was so like in love with, like couldn't like, was so into Denise in like such a thirsty way.
Yes. Which I still saw a little bit of last night. The way Erika was like meaningfully staring into her eyes.
Mm-hmm. She's a great soul, like about her kids and whatever.
You are so right, Joel. I'm done with Erika. I'm just like, you've given us all you can give.
And we've seen this time and again with Erika since her time on the show. She's bad at the reunions, and that's when you really see it. She gives us nothing. Mm-hmm. She gives us nothing.
Because she doesn't give us anything real.
She doesn't want to get dirty.
No,
she doesn't want to get dirty.
She doesn't. And she's had those moments of like anger, but I feel like we've gotten all we're going to get.
Yeah, we've squeezed all the juice out of it.
Why is Camille so angry with Denise?
That seemed very confusing to me too, because it seemed like Denise was the only one who was even a little bit on her side up until that last party when she was sort of like, all right, Camille.
Yeah. And I mean, it's seemingly just that one incident, but I'm kind of like, for her to go after Denise, Camille is such an idiot. You don't come for Denise.
No.
You don't come for a woman who's been through what she's been through, who's so beautiful, as a beautiful mother. I was shocked.
I did think it was weird how Andy and Denise were like, Camille, what do you think about Denise's marriage? And Camille was like, I don't know, it's fine. And they were like, but she didn't take all this money from Charlie. And Camille was like, everyone can do what they want to do. And Denise and Andy were like, but Camille, do you think that Denise is a bitch? Like, they were being so weird with her. And I don't like, but I like just think that, I thought that was a little bit like.
Okay, right. They were like, Camille, you think she's a fucking money-grubbing whore like you? Yes or no, Camille? Yeah, I know.
I will say, too, it was... I'm shocked that there's going to be 3 reunions for this season, because I don't know that there's enough there. And especially when they were like 10 minutes later. And then you're like, ooh, what's going to happen? And then it's like... just interstitials of them in the dressing room. And we learn nothing new except them like talking and complaining about Camille a little bit. Like,
I know. And they all do seem genuinely to be kind of friendly with each other.
Yeah, and that's what I don't need.
That's what I don't need.
And that's like, thank God Camille is there.
Thank God Camille Donatacci Grammar Meyer has arrived.
And when I see her walk off, I'm like, no,
come back. Joel, she'll come back. Those little crinkly pillow lips of hers. They are so weird. Now, Lisa Rinna's lips, I know we all know them to be big. I know that's what it is, but are they bigger?
It might just be the hair.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be the hair.
Okay. And there was one more thing. Oh, Kyle. I feel like they all gave Kyle her props by saying she was the queen. And
that was so weird.
Embarrassing.
So weird.
Erika,
she was like, thank you.
Erika taking that so seriously.
Yeah.
It's like, really, Erika, this is the thing that you're going to like make your main thing. It was
Erika and her canned response is, get off the cross. We need the wood. What?
I know.
What? What does that even fucking mean? I'm so over it. I'm so done.
Her one-liners where her face doesn't even move.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, who wrote these for you, Mikey? Like, I know. But here's the thing of Kyle being the queen.
Yeah.
Kyle is not meant to be anything more than a sidekick. And
a
she's given us a lot. She's given us many amazing
She's a
moments
foot
over the
soldier.
years.
She's
But
great at impressions.
To be
Great at
elevated, and it is false because they have elevated her to queen because they know that she is not a threat to any of them.
But also, can I say that
Yes.
Queen doesn't, like, that's not real. Like, the way.
No, that's a real title.
That's a title they all give out normally.
Once in a while, like, a housewife will, like, present themselves and you're like, oh, that she's kind of, but, like, it doesn't necessarily exist. So the way that Erika's like, no, Kyle is the queen. She is the queen. And everyone's like, It's like, what? Have you guys lost your fucking mind?
And a couple of them were reluctant to say yes. But then the funny thing is, it's nothing to do with Kyle. They're all just want Lisa Vanderpump to hear this and see this.
Lisa Vanderpump.
Right. It's all about Lisa Vanderpump. And I did like what Kyle said, though, when she's like, God, I showed up at the reunion basically like after I called my sister an alcoholic in front of America and our family was disintegrating. I was there. I was like, that is a fair point.
It is true. And it was hard
But
to
we
watch,
do
but-
need Kyle. I don't think she's a queen, but we need her. She is what kind of everyone is working off of.
Oh, can I say one other thing?
Please.
Sorry, not to change, but you know when Denise is talking about Eloise and Dorit gets
Yes.
She really found a way to make it.
about her.
Bring it back herself. Bring it back to
You
a
know,
2-year-old storyline.
Vanessa, I wasn't gonna say it, but I did find it's like we're talking about her situation right now and what's going on, and I also felt, and I don't know, I feel like I'm saying all things I'm gonna get in trouble for, and I'm so glad that Dorit's son is doing well, but it's just Jagger. It's a bit much to come in and be like, and he's doing exceptionally. It's like, how dare you? This person's talking about her story. We're not comparing and contrasting here. If you want to just be empathetic, just simply listen. And we don't need words from you right now about how great your son's doing.
I will say too, Denise was so funny so many times when she interjecting with little questions of her own that like,
Oh my God, it was so funny. I wrote that down.
Wait, why would they do that?
My friend Julie, she was like, Denise has never seen the show.
Yes,
Never.
Yes, it was like, we're just catching Denise up as well.
Yeah.
She's like, why'd you do that? Why were you guys mad at each other?
Yes. And someone's like looking at her like, Denise. And she's like, oh, I didn't know that.
And it is common practice for the new wives to claim they have never watched the show. But Denise is the first one where I believe it.
Oh, Denise has not watched the show. I feel like she didn't even watch this one. She was just like, hey, Andy. She's like, I tried to dress up. And everything about Denise is great.
Just a breath of fresh.
A breath of fresh. Anything else for anyone? You're right. I don't know how we're going to do 2 more unless Lisa shows up.
Also, I think they will get into Camille more next reunion, but I thought it was a waste. They talked to Camille for like a second and then they moved. We're like, it was a waste of having Camille there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, just save it. I think
The good thing is
they got
Camille will
nothing.
stay for 5 more days.
Yeah.
You know,
She's
after
camped
her
out.
house burned down, she camped out at the reunion stage in anticipation. All right, guys. Well, we shall see.
Yeah.
We shall see. Let's take a break. Hi. We're back. I'm back with Vanessa Bayer, Joel Kim Booster, myself, Danielle in Florida. Let's discuss New York City's reunion part 1.
Speaking of them being on too friendly of terms,
Okay.
I remember you guys saying at the beginning of the season they've got nothing. And then I remember us all sort of collectively deciding as a viewing audience that like by the end with Bethany's freak out and all of these things, we're like, no, this was like great. And then we come to this reunion and I'm like, did they have anything?
I got to stop you right there, Joel. They had everything. I mean, Andy himself said it in the intro, another masterpiece of a season. I never heard him say that to OC.
No.
I mean, I think we had a lot. I think what we had was more like character work. It wasn't so many like plot points. It was just like every character is existing and flourishing at a 10 in terms of their own mental illness run amok.
Yes, just starting with Sonia being like, is my face taped?
The tape.
Right, character work, just moment to moment character work, I felt.
I guess I thrive on the conflict and I
Right.
guess there's a personal thing.
Right, that's just you, and that's just
And
you, right.
to miss that.
You've
And I guess-
always wanted conflict out of your housewife.
And also going into it having seen 7 reunion specials to have watched last season's reunion specials.
Yeah.
Tough. And I didn't get to be here, and I know that you are aware that I was Team Carol through and through the whole way.
Still after this week on the 20th anniversary of JFK Jr.'s life, she released her treasure trove of photos that she's been fucking sitting on, wanting to be a part of that conversation. Still, Joel.
Here's what I'll say.
She needs to be.
Here's what I'll say, and
thirsty
I believe
and disgusting.
I spoke to Deanna Chang about this, my ally at arms, and this is
and she's even
this
away.
This is a tough thing to say about, because there are real human lives that I'm about to speak about here. But after watching the reunion specials and really thinking about it, and then coming into this reunion special, I think had Dennis died 6 months earlier than he did, it would have saved their friendship. I think because of what Carol had gone through, I think had it happened before the complete implosion of the relationship.
Right. So Dennis's death is to blame, essentially, for their friendship. You don't often say, all life is all about timing. And you don't often suggest that should someone have died earlier, it would have, God closes the door. He opens the window. I don't think you're wrong. Although I could see if Carol made like one wrong move and how she, helped Bethany through it, Bethany would have just gone completely crazy.
Yeah.
I do feel like I understand what you're saying.
Because it brought Dorinda and Bethany together. It really, I think.
And it brought Dorinda and Carol. I mean, that was what their friendship was based on.
I'm just like really thinking about all of that. Because like to see Dorinda and Bethany for the first time on the same couch.
Yes.
Because they've never been like full on enemies, but they've never been on the same couch.
No. Right. Well, not like since we went for B's charity work and Dorinda was slurring at the dinner. Mm-hmm. Oh. Oof. Dorinda seems to have somewhat pulled herself slightly more together, from an alcohol standpoint.
I'm a ride or die for Dorinda, I think, because I am Dorinda.
Yeah.
I am 80% of the time together, and then the 20% that I am off the leash, it's bad, and then I will not take responsibility for it.
But it is crazy that she's like, you are a Dorinda. I wasn't heckling her. Like I was saying Giovanni. Like I was like proud of Giovanni. Like I wanted to plug Giovanni. It's like
she's digging her heels in.
Tinsley really tried to give her an out too, where she was like, I was yelling too. I was yelling. We were heckling.
She's like, shut the fuck up, Tinsley. Tinsley always tries to help someone, and people are like, we don't want your help. Even though you're the only one sticking up for me, I'd rather you zip it. Tinsley.
Sad. Do you think she's got another one in her? Do we think?
Yes, she's coming back.
Oh, she did.
I think she's got one more in her. I heard tell that she was dating Billy Bush, which I was like, that's a match made in hell that I love.
Yes.
But I don't know. Then she said they were just friends. But that to me, there's never been something so right.
But then she was on Watch What Happens Live. They asked her about it, and her mom was the bartender.
Stop.
And her
embryos were the other guests.
Yes. And they're crying over them. And her mom was like, she was like, yeah, they've just been on 2 dates. It was so funny because she was like, Tinsley was like, no, we're just friends. And she was like, and then her mom was like, yeah, they've been on just a couple dates.
Oh God, Dale. Dale. Yeah, we didn't get a ton from Tinsley, I feel like.
Or Sonia, quite honestly. Sonia barely spoke, really.
We got a lot about Sonia's fresh apartment.
Yeah, I think that was my resistance to this. Because it was very, like, we sort of, they made the decision to clear the decks with the Dennis stuff up front. And then, now I'm sort of like,
maybe
where
if
are they
Richard had died later, Sonia would have spoken more. That makes no sense. No, I hear you. Look, I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise. I can't have you take away from the whole season.
No.
But you're coming from a different place. You've just seen the canon. You know where we've come from.
Yeah.
Whereas for Housewives are just like, for me, it's like I can only see what's right in front of me, and then it's just poof, gone.
I did love how immediately, like after talking about Dennis, they then started attacking Luann about Luann being, when they were talking about how Luann was like, said she couldn't be in the Hamptons because she would get paparazzi'd, and Bethany was like, I've seen Madonna doesn't have any problems in the Hamptons. And she was like, I've seen a million celebrities. And she starts naming all these celebrities. She's like, they don't have a problem in the Hamptons getting paparazzis. They don't have a problem in the Hamptons. And they're like, but Luann, I guess you have a problem. And then Luann focused in on the one if you can
photo.
name the paparazzi photo, you probably don't have a problem.
Not a problem. And I love when Dorinda was trying to help with listing a celebrity. She's like, Billy Joel. Okay. She's helping. I mean, it was very amazing that when Ramona said in 15 years, take a look at Kingston. Like Kingston will be up and coming in 15
Just a
years.
monster.
God.
Just a
15
goddamn
years. She's a
monster.
goddamn monster.
And she gave out her address.
You know what I'm really tired of hearing Dorinda say, because she's done it a ton of times in a full like cry, which is like, I stood by you like a soldier.
My favorite this time, this is a new sort of part of her repertoire. I gave you the prayer card. The prayer card. She kept going. And I was like, what the fuck is a prayer card?
Why would you give that to Luann?
I know.
Of all people. When Luann and Dorinda were hugging, it was pretty amazing because it felt like they're coming to something. And when Dorinda started crying, I'm not angry, I'm confused. But then 2 seconds later, they were screaming at each other again. It was so...
Well, because you could tell from Andy too. He was like, no, this is happening too soon. He was like, I have more. There's
You're
more
right.
that needs to happen.
Yes. He's
he
like,
was like, we are not. You can't tie a bow on this yet. Because
who do you think Andy's favorite housewife is?
I think in many in a
Like
sort
that he
of like
seems to just like.
I think it's kind of Bethany in that like he can hang with her like on a real sort of like real human level, but I think it's Sonia.
I think it's Sonia for sure. Because she's just like easy.
In the way that we love them, I think it's Sonia.
Yeah.
You know?
I think so too. I mean, she's so lovable.
Wait, can we just talk about their looks really quick? Like,
Oh, please.
Can Luann's level of accessorizing? She had on sometimes glasses. She had a huge, like I was writing it down, a huge barrette next to huge earrings and a necklace. And they were all diamondy, but all different stones that didn't match. And not that it was pick one.
Pick one. It was shocking.
It looked like a little kid who like was like, I'm going to put on earrings and a necklace and like, it just, sorry, that was, I'm embarrassed that I did that voice, but it just looked, there was so much going on.
So much.
And not in a like,
And yet not enough.
yeah.
Not in a Dorit way where you're like,
yes,
go
exactly.
for it.
Yes, please. It's all working and crazy.
Yes.
Like I love Dorit's hair wrap, which we
Bethany
discussed.
Bethany consistently always looks the best. This is an amazing look.
I thought it was amazing.
It honestly was sort of breathtaking. It was
Yes.
like, this is
The shoulders, the pattern. I thought it was really gorgeous. The hair, all of it.
Tinsley's best look, I think, too.
Was
Best
that-
reunion
she
look.
was in the purple fan.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. Yeah,
I
I
liked
thought that
it.
was good.
I liked it.
Looks like she's lost weight.
It wasn't as infantilizing as she normally goes.
Yes,
I
you're
think,
right.
Like the haircut last season was the first step. She normally goes very like princess. Like,
I did think the fan was
cool.
very like, if you kind of like, she always wants to be very like coquettish and like, it was almost like a grown up little girl.
Yeah.
Vibes were there, but you're right.
Dorinda's sort of a miss for me.
Well, Dorinda's always a miss for me.
Yeah, and then when they were talking about her dress, and she was
Can't picture it, but I know it was a miss.
she was like, "It's Naeem Khan," and then they were all like,
right. And she was like, remember you wanted to wear that?
Yeah, that
Dorinda
was
can be so nasty.
"She can be so mean," and then she's like, "I was a soul." It's like, you know what? You were also
all with a
huge
smile
bitch.
though.
You're also a
Also,
huge bitch.
all with a smile though. All with like this level of like, I have plausible deniability or what? Like what? Like what is sort of implicit in everything Dorinda says.
Yeah.
Is sort of like what? Like,
Dorinda's a lot, but the best moment for me was when they played Luann's song, and everybody. We watched everybody, and then Luann, it's like what you would do in a sketch. Like, Vanessa, if you were doing a sketch and someone played your song, you would start singing along to it. Because it's like, well, nobody would ever do that and ask for it to be louder. It's almost like we've seen that so many times, you wouldn't possibly. And then there she was asking for it louder,
Oh my god!
and bringing up rhymes that she loves.
But also the way that the women were like, I can't, or was it just Dorinda or was all of them going like, I can't believe you're talking so much about Giovanni. Like, why are you bringing, and it's like, Luann's like smart.
Yes.
Like she's bringing up Giovanni because like,
It's funny.
it's funny and like
Fucking
she's,
Danielle and I sold t-shirts that said Giovanni. Like, Dorinda, cash in on it.
it's like, of course.
and it's kind of shocking that she didn't, because Dorinda is pretty opportunistic about her own catchphrases.
But she
a lot of
couldn't.
times.
She couldn't because she had said so many times, like, this is nothing. And then Luann started cashing it out. So she's trying to like diffuse it, but doesn't realize she's still making it something. She just has dug her heels in, like you're saying, so much that she wasn't heckling.
It's too late. Yeah, I can't wait
too
for
late.
like 3 finales or like reunions from now. She will finally admit that she was heckling.
Yes, when
But
no
it's
one cares.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It'll be far too late. I will say to Bethany's long stained blink when Luann was like, I was talking to my agents, actually.
Yes, I wrote that down, Joel.
Bethany closes her eyes for a full 5 seconds.
And then slowly opens them. And I just told them I have to be on stage. I love performing.
Yeah, I was saying to my agent, getting on stage feels so good.
Can you imagine saying that to your agent?
I do. I text them that all the time.
Right,
That's
it
what
does
I
feel
said.
so good. You're right. We should.
And wait, I wrote down wiping of Barbara self-tan.
Oh, that's in the preview for
that's-
next.
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to.
But
we
no, I
must
mean,
touch on
the
it.
thing is like, Barbara wasn't there. Barbara didn't give us enough to even be at every episode of the reunion.
I know. I feel like Barb might come out for like 5 minutes and they'll wipe off her tanner and send her home. I have a love for Barb and I don't know why. I don't want her back.
She's a good person,
Yeah.
and you can tell that, but not like they really rolled the dice with her, and she brought
What a misfire.
all of Barbara's best moments have been because she forgot the mic was on her.
Right.
Yes.
When she told Carol that Luann's marriage was going to be a sham, when she said that Luann couldn't sing, like everything. Those are her top 2 moments for me
Right.
as far as I'm concerned. And it's all because
Yeah.
she wasn't good enough to remember that she was on a show.
Right. I'm sure. And that's hard for her, and then the tanner, of course.
For Andy to say, I feel like I'm at a New Jersey reunion right now looking at her.
I felt like, wow, we're really just taking Barb and dragging her. Like, as
just
we just really are.
As
Like,
though
nobody. And poor Barb
she hasn't
just
been
takes,
enough.
She takes her knock. She keeps on ticking. She's just like, yeah, okay. Anything else, guys?
I didn't. There was
Please.
one more thing I wanted to say. Even though I feel so bad for Bethany, what she's been through, it is kind of funny how when she talks about her different boyfriends, the other housewives are so jealous that she's like, yeah, and I'm seeing this guy now and it's great. And when I was with the guy who was like what was the guy, the caterer?
The hot
She's-
caterer.
Yeah.
She's like talks about all these guys and you just see the other housewives being like, yeah. Wait a second. But they're like it's so easy for Bethany to like get a new, and the rest of them are just like, yeah. And that one didn't work. Okay.
yeah.
You know
that
what I
hot
mean?
one didn't work out either.
Yeah. They're just so
Yeah.
watching her talk about all these different guys and they seem so jealous.
Well, wait, and this was
So
actually
jealous.
this was another slightly interesting Bethany moment was the Tinsley a little bit standing like for the first time ever.
But
Standing
Bethany
up for
wouldn't
herself.
give it to her.
But
And I'm
again,
like, give it to her though.
It's Bethany sort of like realizing like, okay, I did watch that back and I do realize that people could read that as being hypocritical, but here's how I was able to justify it in my own crazy head.
Which
as
made no sense.
No, none of it
No.
did. None of it did.
And then she's like, when he brought out that Secretariat flower arrangement for you, like she's
Yeah.
so cutting that she could just pivot.
yeah, she was like, let me find my ins here.
Yeah,
she was
that
like,
is-
well, you met on the show. And it was like, okay, but like,
But still.
Yes.
what?
And
Like,
she wanted him so desperately to be on it. I can see that he was probably like, okay, I'll come one time. And then was like, never again. I'll send you Gucci shoes when Bambi dies. And that's it. And Bethany, it's like, of course, Bethany wouldn't have called Dennis and
No.
done like dirty talk.
no.
Well, or her current boyfriend. I'm sorry. I think that Dennis had passed on.
The suit boyfriend.
Wow.
Not a lot from Ramona this up either.
No, I think something's coming from Ramona, which is like, I don't know. It's just tough to shout at a friend who is telling you with their mouth they're in recovery. You're not in recovery. You're drinking on the side on national television. It's just tough after they've already been like, I mean, I guess I respect it, and we need it, but it's pretty tough. That's coming up.
Ramona's general sort of strategy with reunions, I found after going through this deep dive, is to sort of like throw in the most banal observations about specifically what Bethany is saying. Like she really can't resist with Bethany. Like
Yeah.
she'll be like, and that made you feel bad, or like, so, like she has to like sort of like confer, like she's always just sort of like, I think she's aware that she's like, oh, I haven't talked in a while. I should probably like
Get in there. Yeah.
And she does it. And it's always like, yeah. Thank you, Ramona.
Thank you for that. Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes in the reunion, she's not as present.
Well, she fell asleep.
Well, that's right. That's right. I
Right.
forgot when she fell
She
asleep.
did fall asleep at one meeting.
It's so good. Do you think Andy gets up in the morning and is like, oh, I have to go do this? Or he still kind of has some excitement? I bet those are long ass
Depends on this
days.
franchise, maybe.
I did meet him recently
Yes.
at a warehouse party in over Pride, and it was
At Anderson Cooper's.
no, it was in it was like during World Pride, and it was like a warehouse party full of truly maybe 800 gay men, and I I wasn't in a state to probably approach Andy Cohen.
You were like, Maurizio, yeah.
And yet I did confidently approach him and say, you were on a show called The Other Two of the episode that I wrote of Watch What Happens Live. And I just wanted to let you know I was very impressed with your work.
You wrote that?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that you wrote on that.
Yeah.
I love that show. And what did he say?
And he put on the smile, and I knew immediately he did not want it. Of course not, because it was like 12:31 a.m. at night, and he was like, "Thank you, yeah, I had a lot of fun," and then I was like, "And my time here is done."
My
time here is done. And I recently did tweet too that I have begged my agents to get me a bartending gig on Watch What Happens Live for years.
You need to be in a seat.
Yes.
Well, now at this point, yes, but and Padma Lakshmi snitch tagged Andy Cohen in it and said, Andy, let him bartend. And then Andy responded and said, "Oh, you can come bartend." And I was humiliated. I was like, Andy, you were never supposed to see this tweet. Ever.
Well, Roxanne Gay in our podcast, she put out a kind of, she said, I want to be on Watch What Happens Live. I haven't. And, the audience made it happen. So, but you don't need help making it happen. But, we will all assist.
I think he's made it pretty clear that he doesn't want me.
Look, are you going to be in the chair closest to him? No. But you belong in that second seat.
Yeah, I'll probably end up on with like Melissa Gorga on a slow Tuesday.
Believe me, that's where we all start.
I did 2 in a row with Kristen Doty. So you take what
you take what you get and you don't get upset. Yeah, I've done one with Ramona, but
that's huge. That's marquee.
It was nice because it was after when I think it was she threw that glass at Kristen Teichman when they were going paddle boating. So that felt nice, but still, that was so funny. First I was on with Tamar Braxton.
I've been on with Camille.
You have?
Yes.
Tell us everything.
How was she?
It was, how she did I can't remember if she was a full housewife then or not, but she was at a really,
she had rehabilitated
She
her
was
image.
at a low point. And that meaning she had just had some medical stuff. And the maybe like a domestic. All I wanted to do truly was like protect her. Yeah. Because she was just.
Well, this was the St. Camille period.
Going through a really hard.
Yeah, this was St. Camille.
Yeah. And I was like, I just wanted to like, are you okay? Stand up for her. Because she was just like going through a very hard time.
And was she friendly?
She was. And I, Jenna, who's a stage manager at SNL.
Yes.
She is friends with Camille from when Camille was on.
Unlikely. Okay.
Because Jenna worked on like the Jon Stewart show and stuff.
Oh, wow. TV. Okay.
And Camille was a dancer on, do you not know? Camille was a dancer on The Grind, I think.
What?
Wow. Okay.
I might be getting some of these facts wrong, but I think she was. And so they knew each other from like early MTV. And she was like, and Camille was so sweet. And Camille, they're two sides.
Right. She's a complex character. Okay.
In a small dose, I can see like talking to Camille and her being great.
Yeah, me too. Like with a glass of wine at a party and her being like, yeah, I don't like that.
But then you remember the Kavanaugh stuff and it is tough. It is tough.
While we were just talking, I did go to a place where I was like forgetting about that. Yeah. Why was she? It was so annoying when she was like, I don't just sit around and eat bonbons and this and that. And I know she did work on, his production company. I guess she was a producer. But it was just so like, I don't know. I just thought she was a bitch to Denise this week, and I don't like it.
But I do think, again,
I disagree.
But they were like, Camille, what do you think about Denise and her husband?
Denise
and do you
wasn't
hate
saying that. Andy was saying it because I think Andy was trying to be like, you're disgusting. Denise is not, and baiting her. She kind of didn't take the bait at the beginning, but then she like should have gone off on Andy, and she like went off on Denise.
Yeah, misplaced.
But I know they were baiting her. Of course they were. But I think she's a bad person.
And I do love Denise. Who in this world is better?
I know. Denise will be back, right?
Oh, yeah. And you guys, I think, have talked about this. She doesn't follow any of the rules for a housewife that you want in a good housewife. Like, she doesn't do anything like Shannon does. Like, Shannon's a great housewife for the classic reasons. Mm-hmm. But Denise is like,
she's
all
perfect.
I want to do is what? Yeah, me too.
We need someone else to replace Lisa. We need a big personality to come in.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
And I wonder who it's... But and I think we need to dump Erika.
I agree.
She
doesn't want to play along.
She doesn't. And again,
she's acting like she's above it.
Yeah, and it's like, no, you're not.
No, you're not. You're actually
and
beneath
she's full
it.
of lies. And
Kyle's impression of Erika was spot on.
Kyle is an amazing impressionist.
She really is.
Yeah,
like
she is.
I maybe was her calling. Like she could have
100%.
Yes.
I agree
Get her
wholeheartedly. Better than I
Get her
could
a
ever
screen
be.
test for
couldn't-
SNL immediately.
she should. I mean,
I mean,
where has she been?
where is she? But she needs. She could still do it. I
Sliding
do
doors.
believe
I do
she's
think so,
great.
too.
Yes, she's great.
Really quickly,
Please.
did you see the trailer for Dallas that dropped?
No. How did I miss this?
I don't know. It dropped during the reunion last night.
Okay.
September 8th, I think, is when it's coming back. So we have a full month and some change before it
They
arrives,
really
which is
just
sad.
keep us. It's sad. Okay.
But I saw this recently. Brandy on Leanne Lockin's Instagram commented, because Leanne did a promo with, I can't remember who, it was like Ramona and like one other heavy hitter.
yeah.
And Leanne. And Brandy was like, wow, you look gorgeous. Can't wait. And blah, blah, blah. Can't wait to see this. And then Leanne was like, birthday drinks when you get back. And it's like, what's happening? That Brandy is back in the comments.
Birthday drinks
with
when you get back.
Leanne. And it's like, I
Maybe
think.
Stephanie's fallen away again.
No. From what the trailer seems to be implying, it is Cameron and Deandra are again the villains, but maybe now more alive. I can't believe they brought Deandra back. Honestly, it was such a bad season for her.
Such a
in
bad
every
season.
way.
I know, she's a
that
monster.
I can't believe they brought her back. I don't think there's any new ones. It doesn't
Deandra's
seem
the
like there's any new
Candace
ones.
of Potomac, like the money stuff and the mom stuff. Yeah.
It's bad. I will say, I think Brandy is calculating enough that, I don't love Brandy. I don't trust her. I think she's just realized that the cult around Leanne is too powerful. Leanne is the...
Well, Leanne said that. People like me the most. And
Yeah.
Brandy was so balked at that. And then she realized,
It's true, and she has to get on board, at least for now. I think she's on board for now.
playing the long game, yeah.
Until she finds another opening, and then
Until further notice. I can't wait for Dallas to come back.
I think it's, yeah.
Stephanie, her little voice. I love it.
Stephanie and Cameron seem to be at odds this season. Cameron throws a napkin in Brandy's face very forcefully. It's shocking and
Oh, God. I can't believe I
compelling,
didn't see
and I
this.
can't wait.
I
Okay.
just can't wait to see what is the next movie that they all like pick a few from this franchise.
That's what you want to see.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
when I was watching back this season of Potomac,
Godzilla?
Yes. Dorinda, what are you wearing? I'm wearing Godzilla.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, can you guys be less? It's so funny them act. It is just.
And I love seeing housewives that are in a feud with each other doing these commercials together because I'm like,
Yes.
these whores they want their money
Yeah.
and they don't care.
Wait, have you guys talked about this? Sonia and Tinsley at Pride. Have you seen this video?
Wait,
of
no.
them getting in a fight in a van?
Yes, of course
and
I saw it. Yes,
and
how did we not talk about it?
Leanne in the front seat turning around being like, guys, get it together. Like,
Okay, I'm gonna.
a
You know
whole
what?
season.
I'm gonna play it for everyone right now,
Okay.
and because I think everyone needs to hear
Yes.
it. Not caught on cameras, but I guess on someone's phone.
I think on Reza or
Yeah,
Leanne.
Reza was there.
Someone sitting next. I think whoever was sitting next to Reza.
Do you watch
No, it was
Shaw's?
Kelly. It was Kelly Dowd.
you're right.
It
Yes.
was Kelly fucking Dowd. Oh my God.
What I would
And
have
if there has
given-
ever
what I
been a
would have
case,
given.
if there has ever been a case for an All Stars, it is that video.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is like seeing these people. It's like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's like that shock of the Avengers for the first time, like seeing them all come together. And you're like, this is everything I want.
And you know what? All it would need is the thinnest of reasons. It's like there would be some reason, which is like Rinna would be like, I want to take the girls to New York because my daughters want to model, and Bethany's like, I just needed a break from those friends, and I know Kyle from back in the day. Like everyone would have a little. Cynthia's like, I just need to meet Mike's family. He lives in New York, whatever it is, and it would just fall together.
Or
We
you
would
could just
accept any reason.
Drop them on an island and say, pick your rooms in this mansion.
Right, and let Ramona run. Right, they should just get off a boat with their high heels and a bag.
Just send them on a vacation.
Yeah, I
We
don't know why
need a
I was
lot.
saying there needed to be pretense. Wow. Guys, thank you so much. I want to quickly, not even quickly, please take your time touching on projects that both of you have. Joel Kim Booster, you have a TV show coming out on NBC, a Mike Schur show.
Yeah.
He created, Parks and Rec, The Good Place.
Yeah.
This is so exciting. It's called Sunnyside.
And it premieres September 26th at 9:30, right after The Good Place.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Yeah, so pretty stoked.
Sunnyside. And who do you play?
I play Junhao, a psychotically rich Asian immigrant who I just very stupid, a hot idiot. And so a real joy.
I would have been
Real
so
joy
happy
for
if
me.
I ever could play a hot idiot. That's amazing. Oh, I cannot wait to see it. And you're in Shrill, which is out.
Yeah,
has
on
been out.
Hulu. You can check it out. And yeah, that's and now I'm doing this, but that's the only credit that matters.
Yeah. And now, Vanessa Bayer, you have a book.
Yes.
Tell me everything.
I had a children's book come out recently. It's called How Do You Care for a Very Sick Bear? This is a little shift in tone. It's if you have a
wait, but like, how do you care for a very sick bear and your son? I mean,
I was just thinking that. I'm like, okay.
Yes, and it's if you have a friend who gets sick, what you can do for them, and it's basically to teach kids and adults like empathy, and like if you have a friend who's sick, like the best thing to do is to be there for them and show up for them.
Oh my gosh! And to kind of show kids how model that.
Yeah,
that's so neat. What prompted this?
Well, you know, when I was a teenager, I had leukemia, and so it was my friends really rallied around me. And so it's sort of like a love letter to my friends. And also I've just noticed like a lot of adults, even that I know, like when they have a friend who's sick, they think, you know, they say like, okay, I'm going to leave them alone. I'm going to give them their space. But really that's for the friend. That's not really for the person who's sick. And like, you know, be there for your friend. And if they're not up for hanging out or whatever, let them tell you that. You don't need to assume that about them.
Right. Keep showing up for them. Yeah.
And does the main character at some point say to the bear, I was standing by you like a soldier?
Yes, I actually one of the bears is modeled after Durandal.
Oh, wow. And I'm sure she tried to want you to cut her in on all the profits.
She has, our lawyers have been talking.
And Bear says clip.
And we're going to come to a settlement out of court. So.
Oh, okay, great. I'm so happy to hear that. Oh my gosh, I love that. I really love that.
Yes,
How to care for a very sick bear.
It's available at like all bookstores and
I'm
online.
genuinely so touched by that story.
I'm going to give you one. I have them in my car.
I would love it. I would absolutely love it. Thank you guys. What a great episode. Love to Danielle. Thank you all. And I have one little announcement that I will leave you all with. And of course, we'll close out the episode with the amazing car ride between Tinsley, Sonia. Oh God.
Reza, Kelly Dowd.
And
Leanne
Lockett. Okay. Bye, you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
I just really quickly wanted to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for all, and I do mean all of the donations that everyone made for the Comfort campaign. Just as a little update, we raised over $35,000, primarily from podcast listeners alone. I cannot tell you the depths of my gratitude and the Comfort campaign's gratitude. I mean, it's shocked me beyond belief. And we sent our first shipment of $20,000 worth of bilingual books, art supplies, volleyballs, soccer balls, sun hats, sunscreen, and just all different types of markers, crayons, art supplies. We have sent them. They've been received and are being distributed as we speak. It's meant so much to us, and we've held back the other $15,000, waiting for word from them on more supplies, and that money will be allocated close to immediately, and I will let you know exactly how it is being used, and I can't thank you enough. And because I somewhat hastily called for this, I won't be able to send specific individual donation kind of tax receipts. If you have any issue with that and would like money back, please email me at thecomfortcampaign@gmail.com. That's the Comfort, COMFORT, campaign, CAMPAIGN @gmail.com. But please know from the bottom of our hearts, the money has gone directly as promised, and been spread out over 8 of the detention centers. And they're very grateful, and as are we, for your continued compassion and generosity. For a bunch of people that listen to us discuss monsters on television, you are truly, it took my breath away how generous and kind the people that listen to this podcast are. Not like Danielle and I were horrible, but you all are truly lovely, lovely people. Thank you. Thanks for listening, everyone. Huge thank you to our unbelievable and beautiful editor, Jordan Duffy. And thank you to everyone at Earwolf, Dana, and all. Have a great week.
She wanted
Bring
you,
me off, you
she
be
wanted
nice.
you to
Thank me
hype
for
her.
the
She wanted you
housekeeper.
to hype her.
Hype me
Wait,
as a great
Sonia,
friend.
say do not touch the Morgan papers.
Say
And that
nice.
makes sense to me to you.
Say
which you
thank
still
you.
don't
Say
understand.
thank
which
you
is
for
so
the housekeeper.
And the height.
Thank you
And the
for
height.
cleaning up. I literally walked in after being abused mentally, physically by a man. I walked
Hit
in
him back.
within a month.
It's not about you.
She had
It
a bad
is.
mugshot.
Why is it always about her?
No, she
Here
we're
we
trying.
go.